Kaz.
Yes.
Thank you very much for letting me do this interview.
No worries.
So, I wanted to get started by just running through how you came to what was Mum's Fitness Fun at the time, and what some of the fears like you had leading into it, or concerns, and then kind of how it went and how it evolved.
Okay. So I think when I started Mum's Fitness Fun, I was 4 or 5 months post-pregnancy, and I was heavy and feeling very, very uncomfortable. I always put on a lot of weight when I'm pregnant, so I had a lot to lose, and I knew that I needed help to do it. Yeah. So I was scared about what my body could handle, having had the third pregnancy, and I wasn't sure. I hadn't really done any exercise since I'd had all of my children, like no full-on exercise, just probably walking is the most that I'd ever done. So I didn't know what I could do safely. What else was I scared of? I didn't think that I could do it on my own. Like, I know that I needed someone to guide me and to show me what I could do. And I wanted to do it with other people who were in a similar situation. So people who have experienced, I wanted to be with women who were my age. I didn't want to be in a gym with muscle men looking at themselves in the mirror. It needed to be close to home. It needed to be family friendly so that I could bring my children. So I think when you're a mum, ticking all those boxes is really, really hard. You can't. It's really hard to find somewhere where you can tick all those boxes and get the exercise that you need.
And so how was your first session?
Yeah, it was really hard. I remember rocking up. Rocking up was hard, and then I walked in and I could see straight away that it was going to be fine because everyone there was really lovely, and we were all about the same age, and there were children. So there were lots of anxieties because not only was I worried about, am I going to be able to even keep up with these amazingly fit-looking women? Is Henry going to be revolting? And am I going to be really embarrassed by his behaviour? Am I going to vomit?
I'm trying to prove myself.
There was so much anxiety about that first class. I think it helped knowing that it was a short class. Classes that I'd done not in the past were at a gym and would have been sort of 45 minutes to an hour, so it was nice that it was a fairly short class, and if I was struggling I knew that there wouldn't be too much longer to go. But straight off the bat, I think I've learnt that I'm a little bit competitive, and seeing other women who had already been involved in the classes for a few weeks prior, and we're already doing back-to-back sessions, or even 3 sessions, and I thought, that's cool. Yeah, I thought, okay, I could start just by doing 1 class, and then I could, there's potential to build up to 2 classes, and so it's good. Straight away, I was motivated.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so then, which classes did you enjoy the most?
Boxing.
Yeah. Yes, you're a very good boxer.
Yes, I love the boxing. The Pilates I found the hardest, probably because I hadn't really done it before, and I think that's probably the reason. Yeah, just body wasn't used to it at all. Yeah. So I just didn't have any strength. I had some, but not enough to do all of the Pilates moves that I needed to. And then what else was there? What were the other classes?
There was boxing, and then there was strength and tone.
Strength and tone. Yeah. So I enjoyed boxing the most. Pilates was the hardest, and strength and tone was sort of the everyday class that I knew that I could do, and that it would be graded according to how I was going on the day, and At the start of the program, it was all like relatively body weight, lightweight, yes,
and then
lightweight, and running. I was always terrified about the running, and I remember some of us would joke that at the start of the class, if it was raining, it was like, yes, we wouldn't have to run.
Now I know. Yeah. And then by the end of the program, I was like, all right, let's bring out the heavy artillery. I remember.
I think we all improved pretty quickly, really, wasn't it? It was probably over 6 months or so. We all improved together, and I remember you started saying, girls, this is amazing what you're doing, and look what you're lifting and squatting and stuff, and it's very satisfying.
Impact. Was there nerves? Because I know for a lot of women there's the fear, or there's just obviously after pregnancy there are pelvic floor issues for a lot of women, and so there is kind of that, like, in the back of your head, you're like, okay, do I need to spell it out for this trainer?
Yes.
And then also, like, are there going to be progressions, I guess? Obviously, so for example, like squats instead of squat jumping, and little things like that. Was there any like uncomfortability around that? Or
for me, my pelvic floor, thankfully, touch wood, was never really a problem. I guess something that I approached the class feeling a little bit apprehensive about, but that completely resolved very quickly, was the fact that my third pregnancy was a stillborn. And so I needed to tell you that. I felt I needed to tell you that, because I needed to tell you that I was post-pregnancy only 4 months ago. And I just felt like I wanted someone to know where I was at, emotionally. I just needed you to know. And I told you, and it was you responded really lovely, really well, and it wasn't dwelled on, which was perfect. I just felt heard, and that's all that was needed. So I felt very comfortable approaching you to tell you that. So once I had aired that, which I think I did pretty much straight away, you gave me the opportunity for me to tell you what I wanted, and that was the perfect opportunity to tell you. And you asked me about any injuries that I had, and when I had last exercised, which was like years. So that those kinds of things were a little bit uncomfortable at the start of the class, because I felt a bit ashamed that I hadn't exercised for so long. But when I told you that it was like 5 years or something, you're like, that's okay, it's fine. Oh, okay, that's good.
Did you? I think it's only in the last 2 years, and I think especially in the last year, that like I've it's kind of like this this awareness has opened up of having it, either an abortion or having a stillborn, and how, like, pregnancy, even when it goes well, is isolating. But to go through that, and then to only be able to tell, hopefully at best, hopefully a few really key people. But at the same time, like how did you approach it? Like what? Like, as in just as far as, did you lean into your closest family and just try it out? Like what was the...
So you definitely pick the people that you tell, and I even got that wrong sometimes, but you just, when something so tragic happens, you need, well, for me, I had to talk about it with certain people, so I had to have my mum and my sister and Paul, of course, were the main supports. And then as I felt more comfortable as time passed, I could extend that circle of people who knew the details of what had happened. And that only comes with time, I think. That's something that can't be pushed. It can't happen. It can only happen when you're ready. So even just when something like that's happened, there's so much to deal with. It's really hard to even think about going back into reality, into normal life, like to join a new social group.
Yeah.
So to join this exercise group was a challenge in itself, because it's extending my circle of friends, but it's giving me a group of friends who don't know what's happened, whereas everyone else I knew to some level what had happened.
Cool. Yeah.
So it was, in a way, it was kind of refreshing to have this new group of friends who had no idea about where I was coming from. Like they didn't know what had just happened to me. So it was kind of nice to come to a group of people who were fresh, who were fresh to me, and I was fresh to them. So, and I didn't have to explain. I felt like I wanted to tell you, but I didn't have to explain to them what had happened. And I still never have, actually. I don't think anyone knows, and I don't mind if I do now at all. But that was a nice little. Once I'd finally decided to come along to the group, it was a little aspect that I hadn't expected. Yeah, it provided me with support in a different way. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, and then good job. Henry's being really good.
Yeah, so far, so good.
And then, so because you've kind of gone through the whole spectrum, and that you've done the classes in the middle of the day for the 35 minutes, and now you've well and truly, for those that don't know, crushing it.
Thank you.
In the New Direction classes, in the morning and night classes.
Yeah.
So how was the transition between kind of because I know you were keen, like you were like, all right, cool, I want to step it up now. I feel like I've kind of outgrown this.
Yes.
And then because you went back to work.
Yes.
Right, because you weren't working.
That's right.
But it would have been. I don't think there was you going back to work that necessarily made you change classes.
No, that wasn't part of it. No, because I work 2 days a week, so that doesn't have a massive impact on my ability to exercise or not. I just remember feeling like, so I was up to the point where I was doing 2 classes, of the Mum's Fitness. Were there ever 3 in a row?
Oh, there was 3 in a row.
Yeah, and I might have even been doing 3 at some stage.
And there was
2
and I was feeling, and
that's too loud.
One of the mums had already crossed over to the big classes, and so there was that little motivation thing again. Like, if she could do it, I could do it too. And then I needed encouragement from you, so I remember I said, oh, do you reckon I could do your classes now? And you were just like, yeah. And so I needed that. I needed approval or like encouragement from you to say, yes, that's totally fine. And again, like totally terrifying going into a new class with these amazingly fit people. And again, like the first class was hard, like those extra 10 minutes. Oh my God. It doesn't sound like much, but going from 35 to 45 minutes was a big jump. Yeah. So the whole like not being able to sit down on the toilet because my legs were so sore after the first Mum's Fitness Fun class happened again. With the new classes. Yeah. So, but again, it was just a natural progression, and now I'm doing 2 of the 45-minute classes. Yeah. Yet to do a 3 session.
I was gonna say I felt like maybe you did, again, there's no doubt that you could. I think you were doing it,
maybe
but then
I have done
I think that was when you got there was a niggle in your knee. It was on that time.
Was I on the 3rd?
It might have, it might not have been.
I think I might have done 3 in the build up to Tough Mudder. I think I did. Do you reckon we could do a... Yeah, all right, let's do it while I'm talking.
Can we do this?
Yes, we can. Yeah. Can you find all the pieces for me?
Yeah. And so, which part of you found? So So as you've moved up through the levels, what have you found has changed within you? Just is it the new friendship groups? Is it is it the boost?
So much has changed.
Yeah.
So friendships most definitely, and having the people, knowing who's going to be at the classes is motivation to come along. Half the motivation really to come along, because you want to catch up with everyone and you want to continue the conversations that you had with them a couple of days ago and see how work's going or how this and that's going. So that's a massive thing. Physically, there's no doubt that things have changed. So heaps and heaps stronger. I've never been stronger ever in my life, which is really good. Don't need a nana nap in the afternoon anymore, which is really nice.
Yeah, I do. So.
That's not to say I don't take one if I want one. I can keep up with the boys, which is a massive thing. Before, if one of them said, "Mum, let's have a running race," I'd be like, "No way." But now I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to kick your ass."
And a fit boy, so it's not.
Yeah, two active boys.
I was just been given the tour of the obstacle course that's outside, literally.
So I've had to learn how to do monkey bars and how to hang and do all those kinds of things. So I wouldn't have been able to keep up with the boys the way I can, and just confidence. That's a massive thing. Mom, just feeling fit and feeling good and. Yes, Henry.
We're doing that.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, we've nearly done it. There you go. Done.
It's too big up. It needs
No,
more.
that's it. Oh, you can put more wheels on. So I think they're probably the three biggest things. So social contacts, the strength and fitness, and the confidence. Probably the biggest things. Yeah.
And so have you? Yeah. Have you enjoyed the? No, you don't want it anymore. But yeah, this is kind of asking a bit of a silly question, but the Christmas party and the winery tour, and so and obviously the Moonlight Cinemas that's coming up.
Yep.
Can you make it?
I think I'm babysitting.
Yeah, okay.
She's going to Sydney, so we're having Lily for the night.
Oh, see, this is it's either get both or get none.
I know. Annie's just stuffed it up for all of us.
But so those, does having that extra outlet really kind of is it nice to have it not always around?
Yes.
Yeah, sports gear and.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where's Paul's bottle?
Go find it. You go have a quick look and then I'll help you find it in a sec. Okay? That helps immensely. Definitely. It's so nice to see each other out of activewear. It's really nice. And just to have if you drink, it's nice to have a wine with each other, or it just solidifies the friendships, most definitely.
Yeah. So it's
really good. Yeah, really good aspect of the whole community feel that you've built.
But okay, and so good. I'm excited about all those answers.
Cool.
But
good.
Is there anything that
I couldn't find it.
That's right. No, that's all good. Let's see if I can remember what they were. No, so one was is there any advice that you would give to with first-time mums or mums, or on the other hand, like mums that, you know, that have had multiple kids like you, and then have kind of gone, oh my God, now it's been 5+ years since I've exercised, and not even the exercise part, but also just as far as just being a mum goes. Do you have any advice? What words of wisdom?
Oh, golly gosh. I think that probably the best thing that I can advise, and it's also one of the hardest things, is to try and find some time for yourself. Yeah. And as a first-time mum, it's very, 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 very difficult to put yourself first, because your natural tendency, of course, is to put your children first. And I can't stress how much of a difference it can make to your life and to your ability to be a mum if you can put some time aside just for you. I think that's the biggest thing, because it gives you a break, it gives you a chance to use a different part of your brain for half an hour. It makes you feel, you know, whether you use that little bit of time to exercise or just to zone out or to meditate or go for a walk or do whatever you want to do, but it just means that you can have a little break and try and find yourself again, because you lose yourself when you're a mum. For a good chunk of years you aren't yourself. So that's my advice, if you possibly can. Get some time. It kind of leads into, I think it's going to be more than 2 questions. Okay.
But how do you go with, because there is a big transition as a man. I can't say this, but like I can see from afar that there is likely a transition in like your identity, as far as who you were and then who you are and then who you want to be. So how, like, what happens?
So it is a big shift, and it was a shift that took me by surprise. I didn't anticipate it. I thought I'd just be me, and then we just add a child to that, and I'll just continue being me. But that did not happen. That did not happen at all. I completely lost my identity and gained a new one, which was awesome. But the new one, as in being a mum, completely overtakes anything else. So you have to learn how to enjoy being a mum and how to live in this new identity. A lot of the time it's not fun. So you think, oh, so this is me now. This is my life now. And a lot of the time it's a struggle. So you just, it's kind of a little bit never ending sometimes. And then it's a bit disheartening when you think, oh, okay, this is it now. This is me. But then as you do come out of that period of a tiny little baby's life, when dependence on you is not as great, and you can start getting a little bit of time back for yourself, you do start finding yourself again, and you do remember the things that you love doing, and you can start setting some goals for yourself again. And it's so important, and it's wonderful when you realise, okay, it's okay. I will get my life back, and I can work in my children and my life, and it will all be fine. But it is super hard. It's super hard at the start. Even for the first few years, it's super hard. And it's something that you can't anticipate really, and you can't, even when you're in the middle of it, you don't really know what's going on. And it's only now that I look back and can see, oh yeah, that's what happened. I completely lost Caroline in there somewhere. Yeah.
Beautiful. So that was a very nice answer.
Cool.
And so, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't like?
I wonder if it might be interesting to have a little bit of information about a husband.
Well, I was open to asking about that, but I just didn't want to touch on any topics that might not be, that might not be open. But so so when you say that, Yeah, what insights do you mean? Because I could ask plenty of questions.
Yeah, no, go for it. But I don't know. I mean, that's a massive topic, isn't it? Like, having a husband is great. Having a husband who you can communicate to, and that you can tell is, I don't really know where to start. It's just, I think the thing that I've learnt with Paul and I and children is you need to be able to put your hand up and say, I'm done. I can't. I need to break. I need to get out. I need to tap out right now. And you need to step in and just give me a break. I'm not coping. That's really important to be able to say that, so that he knows, okay, she's reached a point and I need to step in now. So it took me a long time to learn that, to realise that it's okay to put your hand up and say, yeah, I'm tapping out now. That's totally fine. Paul has always been fit himself, so he's always encouraged me with exercise and has been there the whole way to push me along and to do Tough Mudder together. And, so there's never been a problem in that regard. We've sort of shared the fitness thing together in a way. Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
So, because I was shown a book, and I'm going to read it soon.
Yeah.
But, very soon. But about how, like, obviously, like you just said, which one's better?
How have you got two of them?
Because we had one, and then someone gave one to me.
Oh, that's right, for your birthday.
So your identity changes.
Yeah.
And then, so the way that I imagine it from afar, is that as a dad, typically you go, all right, I need to provide, like just very typically. But then also there's like you've had a lot of changes in just within you, and sometimes it means that then the relationship changes. Yeah. And so kind of we're usually going to typically, I would imagine, be reactive to how our partner's doing.
Yes,
so
definitely.
So we kind of find where we're meant to be.
Yes.
In that.
Yes.
So how did that go, or just.
I think you're right in that. If I'm fine, Paul's fine because he knows where he's supposed to be. But if I'm all over the place and I can't provide him with any kind of anchor or guidance or like an idea of where I'm at, it leaves him feeling a bit all over the place. I mean, I don't know. What was the question?
The question is basically, how did your relationship change after having kids?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, for us, like without a doubt, we've become good at problem solving. We've worked out that we talk about stuff at night time when the kids are in bed, not when they're up and about and like being loud. It's made us realise that we have to make sure we book time for just the two of us. Before kids, obviously it was just the two of us all the time, but as soon as the kids come along, it's very, very hard to find time for just the two of us. So that's something that you consciously have to make time for. Very important to have a good babysitter. Exceptionally important. So that you can get out of the house and see a movie or go out for dinner. We've worked out that we both sort of feed off each other's frustration a little bit. So if I'm getting frustrated, he'll get frustrated, then I'll get frustrated, and it sort of builds and builds. So I think just recognising that has helped to try and simmer down. I don't know. How has it changed? We're not terribly good at like sitting down and so how are we going, Paul? We don't have conversations like that very often, because I think maybe because we don't feel we need to. I think perhaps we just feel really really good.
Yeah.
We don't feel like we need to sort of go into too much about how we're going, because everything's sort of travelling pretty well.
Yeah. It's flowing.
It flows. That's a good word for it. It flows, and we feel content most of the time.
Yeah. No one's perfect. Yeah. But no, that's really, really nice. And so, if he was here right now, what do you think? What do you think that he would say as far as did you? Well, I guess a question is, did you both make a conscious decision? Like, as in, all right, cool, we're ready, we're stable, let's make this happen. I'm talking a little bit in code here.
So, like, as in, how many children do you want and how many children do I want?
Yeah, and also just the beginning, like the very start.
Yeah, how did we decide? Did we plan it? Yeah, we planned. We decided, let's just get cracking, because we'd moved here. No, I was already pregnant when I moved here. How did we decide? I think we just sort of thought, we weren't married yet. We don't want to do that yet. We'll just have a child. Like, we were committed, but we just thought, let's do that now.
Fair enough.
I think it was, it wasn't like a massive sort of milestone or anything that we'd reached. We was like, let's do that now. And it took bloody forever. Yeah. Forever and ever. And then...
You should have said bloody.
Yes, excuse me. It did. It took much longer than I had hoped, but then it happened. It's fine. And then Riley got to about the age of 2, and then we thought, make another one, and then that took forever. So it's hard when you try and plan and make a decision and then it doesn't happen. That's all right. Don't worry about it. Oh, Henry, don't do that, please.
I hate you.
Why?
Because.
So yes, having two babies. Oh, Henry, please don't do that. Okay, you're going to hurt someone. Do not throw that. Hey. Shall we play a game? Come on, let's get something out from here. And then we thought, I had to convince Paul. It took forever to convince him. Let's go again. Oh, come on, let's have one more. And finally agreed, and then it wasn't successful. But we still haven't 100% decided if we'll go again.
This game.
Okay. We haven't thrown all the baby stuff out yet, which tells me that there's a small percentage of our minds that haven't fully said no.
Yes.
But I think we are sort of a greater percentage in the no camp. Yeah. Does that answer that one? I think that was a tricky one.
Oh, that was There's no right or wrong answer, you know. It's just it's nice to just get a bit of an insight, and and it's good for me just to shut up and listen and learn. Beautiful. Well, so but I think that's pretty much everything.
Yep.
I think so. Thank you very
No
much.
worries. Happy to help.
So,
have you got any other questions? No worries.
Okay. So I'm sure later on I'll be like, I wish I'd asked this.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a question would be, what? Now that you've reached this stage, and assuming that you decide not to have another baby, just assuming. what is going to be, what are you focusing on now? Is it kind of like, okay, I'm focusing on like just as far as bigger picture goes, just kind of getting the kids as happy and as like, I guess I've got too many questions. So now what do you think is the most what qualities do you want your boys to have? Like when it comes to, because obviously now comes the parenting stage.
Yes.
And so now it's all about who do you want them to be, essentially. And so then is it, what is something that you focus on? Like, do you focus on their character, or do you focus on their education and getting them as fun? I know that obviously there can be multiples of these, but it really shows your values.
Yes.
As to what you choose to focus on for them.
Like I think, and it's something that you need to work out. Like Paul and I, that's something that we're constantly trying to work out. Like what's the most important thing for both of us, for our kids. Oh, last one. I'm like having grown up in a family of women. Having boys is just like, what do I do?
I'm outnumbered.
And thankfully Paul's from a family of 4 boys. He's the eldest of 4, so he has much more of an idea. So for me, the values that I'm trying to instill are for my boys to respect women and to be gentlemen, to make sure that they're always doing something they love, to encourage education, but not to force it down their throats. Paul's a tradie, so if they want to learn a trade, that's awesome, but they have to love it. And then sometimes those few values that I've just mentioned can sometimes not gel completely with Paulie because of our upbringings, and that Paul was brought up in a very different environment than I was. So he was brought up on a farm where male and female roles, traditional roles, were different. Like the mum stayed at home and looked after the children, and the dad was a farmer and worked on the land, and very, very different. So sometimes it's hard to marry our two sort of perspectives on where the boys should head. But it's just like with everything to do with parenting. There's no handbook. There's no one to tell you, this is, if you do this now, then you're going to end up with that. You can still stuff it up along the way, and you just have to do your best, I think. Just teach them manners and teach them respect, and try and model the behaviour that you want them to display, and it's an absolute minefield. It's really hard.
Every day you wake up and think, like, how could I screw this up?
And then you go to bed thinking, oh God, what have I done today to ruin him for the rest of his life? It's just a constant learning curve, being a parent. Constant learning curve.
Mum, look, it's red.
But you just muddle on the best you can, and it's all good fun.
Very cute. Very cute. Beautiful.
Wow.
It's red.
Look at this mess, Henry. Who's going to clean it all up? Who? You, both of us. That's a good answer.
Oh, it is very diplomatic.
Like
that was,
I don't want it.
Beautiful.
I don't want one, Mama.
I think that, like, we have just covered having babies, babies, working out, and parenting.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We've covered a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna press the stop button now.